Welcome, welcome. My name is Teray Houston. I'll be the host for this lovely evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing and facilitating the book launch for this phenomenal woman. I get to introduce a first-time author, self-published. This is her manuscript. She's also my mother, Tamara Houston.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, let's loosen up a bit. Do you prefer coffee or tea?
Tea.
And why is that?
Well, I transformed from coffee to tea because I think tea is more herbalistic and it's a little bit more healthier.
I agree. I actually have a ginger tea in my cup here, trusty cup. Okay. What's one thing that you love to do? Work out, karaoke, cook, or clean? I'll let the audience answer this because if you know this woman, you know. And if you answered karaoke, you're absolutely right.
Yes, karaoke is my thing.
Once again, I welcome everyone to this amazing book launch, and I hope you enjoy. My name is Teray Houston. I am a recent graduate from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. I have my degree in fashion design, and I had a minor in business administration. Along with that, I've had roles in the apparel product industry, such as styling, digital design. I also model and act, and I'm currently in beauty school for esthetician, so skincare, makeup, eyebrows, lashes, the whole nine. So, congrats again, and just tell us a little bit about your background.
Thank you so much. So, I'm so proud of you because you actually, and congratulations to you as well, because you actually stepped out on faith and you went into a city where there was no family, no friends, and you made it your home. So for that, I thank you for choosing me to be your mother, because now I know that you are destined to do great things. So I appreciate you and I love you.
Love you too.
So for everyone else, my name is Tamara Houston. I am a seasoned business professional with over 20 years of finance and accounting and now operations experience. I am a people leader, and with that, I have the opportunity to train, educate, and develop employees to be the best of themselves. I'm also a member of quite a few nonprofit organizations where I have held various roles. I was director, board director, board secretary, board treasurer, and an associate. And these organizations helped me to develop my career and also taught me how to navigate my career pathing. And not only that, I was also a committee lead for an employee resource group where I had held so many roles and responsibilities. So if I didn't say enough there, outside of my day-to-day employment, I am also a member of the Women's Association, another women's association, where they actually tailor and kind of allow me to express myself as a woman, a female in leadership, and they also help and share best practices. And in these organizations, they also share motivational tips for females in leadership. Another organization, and to conclude, is I am a part of the Women's Professional Organization where they aspire, they connect, and they also achieve the success of women in leadership.
A jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, there you go.
Many hats, many hats. So you told us about your background, which I think is phenomenal. I think the audience could agree. Let's take a deeper dive. Tell us who Tamara Houston is as a person.
Who am I? I am a visionary. I am an innovator. I'm a mother, a leader, a mentor, a coach, a friend, a full-time worker, an entrepreneur, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a role model, God-fearing, karaoke lover, and now an author.
Yes, a mother and a friend, I can attest to that. We have that connection where, I treat you like my best friend. So, we're going to jump right into the discussion of naive to knowing. I know the audience is waiting. So, what does this book entail?
So, let me start back by saying in 2028, this is basically where the concept derived from. I recall having a conversation with one of my sisters saying that I wanted to write a book. And she said, go ahead. She was very motivational. And so with that said, that conversation led to me trying to come up with an outline on what I would actually write about. So with that said, I had no knowledge of what I wanted to write about, but I knew I wanted to write a book. So I did start writing an outline of what the book would entail, maybe a soft draft of the book. And then I said to myself, wait a minute, pause. I might be over my head a little bit with this. So what I had to do was figure out and do additional research to find out what skills I needed to actually write this manuscript. That said, put a pause on there. In 2021, February, my dad had a stroke. A month later, I took that energy and applied it to what I wanted to accomplish with the manuscript. That energy, or his stroke, actually motivated me to do what I needed to do. Unfortunately, and I kept telling him that I promise you, I will finish this book. Unfortunately, I didn't complete the book before he passed this year. However, during the course of everything, his treatments, I still made him a promise that I would get this book out. So therefore, that's kind of how I came up with the book. The title came from some of my real life experiences. That basically my parents laid the foundation. And also, although my parents laid the foundation, the world and my experience actually gave me my title, Naive to Knowing. Because the world, I remember my mother often saying that the world is a cruel place, and basically you have to keep your eyes open and keep your eyes on the prize. So with that said, this world has taught me some things that in my growing up experience, I never experienced in my own home.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely dedicate this book to my father. Made the promise to him. And now we're live.
May his memory live on. So, what made you self-publish?
Insanity. think I lost my mind for a moment. But I am one to kind of challenge myself at anything that I do. I step into spaces where sometimes they think that females are not supposed to be in. So that's a part of my DNA. I've always been curious since I was growing up. And so I challenged myself. I must say it was the most difficult task that I have ever challenged myself with. So if anyone says writing a book is easy, please tell them to come and speak to me.
Yeah. So then my next question to you would be, what triggered you to write this memoir? What was the light bulb that made everything go off besides insanity?
Well, I think human beings overall, we all have a story to tell, and it's a matter of whether or not you want to tell it. I chose to tell a personal memoir because I feel as though it's my responsibility to help people help themselves. So if my book and it resonates with someone in a way that will positively impact someone, I've done my job.
I like that piece of helping others help themselves, because a thing that we say amongst ourselves is you don't know what you don't know. You don't know until you get that real world experience.
Right.
So
I like that. And we always have those conversations.
yeah. So writing is definitely an art form. What's the most difficult part of your artistic process?
Wow. So art involves creativity and imagination through expression, right? I'm sure you can agree with that because of your background.
Definitely. The whole creative process, it's just that. It's a process, creating something from a thought, making it, creating it into a physical thing it definitely involves a lot of work, dedication. There are times when you want to stop and pull your hair out, but you got to keep pressing through it, as you say, press through, because the end result is it's priceless.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you get to say, this is mine, this is my work, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it. So.
Yes. I like that. So with that said, so I am a visionary, and I actually have a vision that is almost always huge, right? Some of my family members probably would say I'm over the top with my visions, but this is a part of me. So when we talk about writing and the most difficult part of the artistry, how do you take this big vision and put it into its most simplified, put your thoughts into this most simplest form so that people can understand what you're trying to say? I think that's the most difficult part right there. And then you try to compress all of this information, these thoughts, into that most simplified form, all while staying authentic. That's the most challenging, difficult part, I would say, with writing.
I agree. Of course, I've never written anything besides college papers. So I definitely agree with you on that one. You talked about being, authentic and transparent. Do you hide any secrets in this lovely book, I wonder?
So, no secrets. It's an open but honest manuscript written in full transparency. I actually had to get permission from my mother to write some of the details in this book. And if she's on here, Mom, I know that I had to get permission from you. Otherwise, you would give me that look. So with that said, no, it is full transparency, and I definitely hope that folks get the best out of this, because it is definitely self-help, advisory, um, and it will resonate with you on some level.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you there. What was your favorite part of the book? Whether writing it or, after the proofs came out, what was your favorite part?
I think the favorite part was principles that were laid inside in my life, and which I stand by. I can recall one day at work expressing some of the things that I stand firm on to some of the hierarchies above. And so I can respect that from my parents for laying down those foundational principles, which today I still lean heavily in on and I stand by on. So those are the values that I have within me and that will forever live inside of me.
Mm-hmm. And those same principles are also inside of me. I remember you always say, remember the foundation.
Yes.
I put that towards like an analogy. So if you build a house with no foundation, what's going to happen?
The structure. There's no structure.
Exactly.
Right.
So I live by that as well.
Nice.
Thank you for that.
And then also when we talk about naive to knowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all have those moments where we are naive at some point, right? So when you look at it growing up in your younger younger years, right? We were naive to know that the friends that you made would not betray you.
Right.
Right? But now today, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We were naive to know that folks would not be jealous of you just because of your hair or, what you're wearing. But today, you're more aware. So I just wanted to say that, we all have these naive moments, and it's not a negative connotation. I think it actually is positive, mm-hmm. because in that space, that's actually where you grow and develop. Mm-hmm. In that moment, in that very moment, that's when you learn a lesson.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Teachable moments, for sure. You've had many successes in all you do and all you have done throughout your life. With naive to knowing, what does literary success look like to you?
So, to me, success comes in different shapes, sizes, forms, right? Success looks different for everybody. So for me, literary success looks like someone reading the book, regurgitating what was in the book, and then applying that, what was written in the manuscript, to their day-to-day life. Because this book is also a self-help.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of levels of details. It's also words of wisdom. But to me, when someone actually comes up to me and say, hey, naive to knowing, right? And then maybe even reiterate something that was in a book. Mm-hmm. To me, that's success.
I agree. Much like yourself, when I was heavy into the design world, I had a fashion show once upon a time. And people were coming up to me after, like, oh my gosh, I love this piece. Can I have one? So that's a level of success in my career, but I can definitely attest to that. If someone can take the principles that are in here and apply it, you've done your job.
Right.
Excellent. So, do you believe in writer's block?
For sure. For sure. And the reason why I say that is because there were times that I felt like I was tapped out of words. And for the folks who do know me,
That's right.
I am usually not out of words. I'm not at a loss for words, hardly ever. And so at that moment, I felt like I had a need to disconnect from my thoughts and remove myself from that space so that I can actually positively write with a sense of urgency, right? A sense of urgency, but also put the effort into what I'm writing and the energy. So that's what I was looking for. The energy.
The energy. Agreed. So with that, I'm gonna let you off the hook for right now. We're gonna take a brief 5-minute break. Yes.
Okay. Don't go anywhere.
Clear.
Nice.
How was that?
Huh?
How was that?
I think we are fast. What time is it?
7:23.
That's it? Oh, wow. We were kind of fast.
We're a little bit fast, but it was conversational. And I
Yeah.
don't have any like reference point to like know how fast you guys are going.
That's good.
Yeah, but it was good. I think it's good so far.
Thank you.
It was just flowing.
It
That's
was.
all.
It definitely was flowing. So we have to, what's next?
Book insert. And
We
then-
really have to dive deep into probably, because what's next?
Welcome back. So, the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to get into a book excerpt.
Naive to knowing.
Naive to knowing. Growing up in my household, race was not a topic of discussion. Therefore, I grew up having a non-biased opinion about people who did not look like me. Different cultures were not a thought in my mind because it wasn't taught in our household. I viewed people as people and not by race.
Nice.
And this is actually, that was a very powerful statement. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Let's just elaborate a little bit more on that,
yeah.
right? So, what were your thoughts?
That's very interesting to know that she grew up in a household that was just, for equality. Most people, they teach their kids at a young age, well, this person is this color, this person is this color. But, you're not born racist. Racism is taught, so.
So, have you ever experienced that in your life? Racism?
I'll say yes. At a younger age, I was probably about, 5th grade. How old was I? 10 maybe.
Okay.
I honestly didn't recognize it until I came home one day and I was really upset and I'm like, hey, my teacher said this. What does this mean? So, me being naive, I didn't know what it was, how to react. I just knew that if I came home and told my mother, I would be protected, and that's exactly what you did. You protected me.
Nice. So one of the reasons why I actually inserted that into naive to knowing is because that is an iteration of my life. I can recall being at work on one of conference calls. Out now, businesses have the diversity, equity, and inclusion business initiative. So I am a part of those conversations. And one of the statements that I had made was that it was never taught in my household, racism. So going to elementary school, I didn't look at the outwardly appearance. I actually saw a person for who they really truly were. Mm-hmm. And I can recall later on in life when I was approximately 21 in the corporate world. It was then the corporate world that showed me how biased people were. And I remember the feeling of it all because of my talents and skills. And I remember racing to my mother's house and almost in tears because the feeling, just because of who I am and people not knowing truly who I am, people were looking and judging me from the outside. That feeling was extremely uncomfortable. So there was good and bad in that experience. It's good to know that I am not biased. I view people as people. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I had to deal with my emotions. So that's when I had the conversation with my mother. And the first thing that I said was, Mom, why didn't you tell me people judge me by my color? And so that's when we sat down and had the conversation. So I commend my parents for not speaking or affiliating us with any of what's going on today. In this environment today, there's a lot of that goes on. And I thought it was very right on point to put that statement in my manuscript, because it's definitely relevant to what's happening today.
And it's very unfortunate. How would you say your upbringing, how has that molded you into the woman you are today? I know you say you treat people as they are, not based off of, color or race. So what else has that inspired you to look deeper into people for?
So basically it has inspired me to look at people from the heart, from their heart, and not place judgment on the outwardly appearance, right? I definitely had someone at my current job tell me that I had a way of gathering people together. And so I definitely lean heavily on being authentic, true to myself and true to who I am every day, and making sure that I show up in a manner that is respectful towards my foundational principles. Mm-hmm. So I can recall telling you and your brother that please, when you go outside, you represent me. Right? You remember that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that definitely has a lot of, that has everything to do with your upbringing, right? And it's a reflection on how you were raised, I think. And so, Naive to Knowing has a lot of self-reflections in this manuscript. Definitely a book to read.
Mm-hmm. And that just brought about something that my instructor always says. She says, lead in with who you are, be your authentic self.
And don't be fearful of being your authentic self. I think sometimes people, they wear masks. And maybe because, it's not, I'm not placing it, but maybe because they're not truly understanding who they are. And I think that is definitely a big piece in all of this and living life, is staying true to who you are. I constantly tell you that.
And I'm glad you do, because oftentimes I find myself, doing things that are a bit unconventional. So yes, I like to go out to eat by myself. I'll do a lot of activities by myself, and people are like, oh, you're here by yourself? Yes, I am. I enjoy my alone time.
And you know why? Because I think what it is, the word confidence comes to me. So with confidence comes boldness, right? And also courage. It takes a lot of courage for you to go out by yourself. Also strength. We have a need to tap into that inner strength that we have, because oftentimes we may not want to do certain things that we know we have to do, but we just don't do them. And then also that endurance, right? When we talk about endurance, that means that we cannot stop, although we would like to. So in Naive to Knowing, I can tell you, writing this book is about 1 year and 8 months, in almost 2 years. And I did pause between the years of 2018 and 2021. However, I knew that I needed to respect the pause and gather my thoughts to get a mindset, the right mindset, and reset myself as well. And so I think a lot of what I'm doing here is based upon a lot of the efforts. And kudos to my mom and dad, because this really is really about them. And anything that I do, it is never about me. So I know my dad is looking down at me and very proud of what I've accomplished. He wasn't a man of many words, but when he was proud, he definitely voiced his opinion.
Mm-hmm. Based off of this excerpt, I know that the audience is gonna have a great time reading this book. I'm very proud. Yes, I'm a daughter, but I always tell her how proud I am because this is the model. This is who I look up to. This is who I embody. You know?
Thank you so much.
Of course.
And I appreciate you in a lot of ways. And you have shown me some things, and I'm very open-minded to some of the things that you have shared with me. And ultimately, the goal in writing Naive to Knowing is to help people, as I stated before, help themselves, but also help people reflect upon themselves, ultimately, so we can become a better place, a better world, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You want to change things around you, it starts from within.
It starts from within. So definitely some good words of wisdom, some self-reflective moments, my own personal stories of what I experienced in life. So grab it now. It is available.
It is available on Amazon.com. Also with that, the book signing will be November 9th at West Hampton Recreation Center. The address is 50 Springside Road, West Hampton, New Jersey. That's 50 Springside Road, West Hampton, New Jersey. Also, part 2 of the book signing, November 14th at Ladies' Choice Hair Lounge, 13 East Briade Street in Palmyra, New Jersey. Ladies' Choice Hair Lounge, 13
Broad.
East. I was supposed to be broad, excuse
Broad.
me. Palmyra, New Jersey. Come out and support a female author.
So what's next?
Yeah, so what's next?
What's next? What is next is part 2. Yes, I've challenged to write another book. I've challenged myself to write another book. This will be a series of 3 books. And looking forward to writing the second book, and hopefully, you will enjoy this. I enjoyed writing it. A lot of effort, a lot of reminiscing, some questions that I had to kind of call some people, some of my siblings, and ask, do you remember this? Yeah. So lots of childhood memories in this book. So, Naive to Knowing, go out and get your copy. That's it.